What's up, Sober Family? Welcome back. This is another episode of Recovery Talk brought to you by Pro Recovery Power. This is the second time that I'm going live today. If you guys caught the first live, it was with Abby. She is from London and she has a great story to tell and she's hilarious. You know, if you ever didn't think recovery or being sober can be fun, go talk to her. She'll make a believer out of you. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next, we got Mikey. We're doing part 2 of Mikey's story. Mikey went live with me on July 10th. If you guys want to go back and watch that in case you missed it, amazing story of hope. This guy has a story to tell. So right now, we're going to be doing part 2 of his story. We're going to be getting into more of the solution and what happened to him, what he's like today, and get into all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. All of you guys' support is very much appreciated. I mentioned this in the last live, but we are officially a nonprofit organization, so we can help people on a massive scale now. So I'm really excited about that. If you guys notice, it even says that on our page now. If you look, we are a nonprofit organization. So it's amazing how it started with an idea in the pandemic of helping other people that don't have the same resources that I had when I got sober. You know, it started with an idea that led me going to live on social media, to Recovery Clothing YouTube page, and now nonprofit organization. But it's not going to stop there with nonprofit. I got a big vision for this. So I'm really excited, guys. Getting back to Mikey now. I'm really excited for you guys to hear the rest of his story. It is amazing. I have heard it, but not in detail. So I'm really excited for you guys that are here live and those of you who will go and back and watch this replay. But let me get Mikey in here. And he can tell the rest of his story. Oh, well, he's not here yet. So we'll give him a second to jump on. And as we go through this live today, you guys, if you guys have any questions for Mikey or for myself, what Pro Recovery Power is, or any kind of questions and things like that, feel free to ask them. But I would ask you to please put it in the question mark box. Because sometimes there's a lot of questions and comments and I can't read them all. But when it goes into the question mark box here down over there, then it'll alert me and it'll stay there until I tap on it. So here he is, guys. Here's Mikey. Let's get him in here and let him tell the rest of his story. Oh, there he is. Oh, nice shirt, bro. Nice shirt, bro.
Gotta represent, man. You know?
Hey, we gotta see your face though.
Scoot back. Man, I'm gonna have to scoot back all the way. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
There we go.
What's up, man? You looking good, bro.
Hey, I guess I'm looking better than I feel, man. I've been drained this week. I tell you what. But you know what? Show up, right? Like that's what we do. We make commitments, we show up,
right?
You know, we never know who we can help, even in the times where we don't really feel like we're, 100%. And like sometimes that's the best thing to do, is to show up and be like, hey, I'm not 100% right now, but I'm clean and I'm making it through it. And that tomorrow is another day, and I have an opportunity to be blessed with a different perspective tomorrow than I do today, as long as I don't continue to dwell in the problem. If I jump in the solution today, then like things get so much better, right?
Yeah. Shoot, I like how you just put that, bro. I'm glad we got that recorded. I like that. That makes so much sense. See, look at this person over here. True. So true. Like exactly how you just put it, bro. Because we spoke a little earlier, on the phone, and we talked about how exhausted we both are, but like you just said, bro. Like that's what the same thing I learned. Hey, good days, bad days, tragedy comes visit you. What do? We suit up, we show up. We suit up, we show up. That's what we do. I was taught, for me, mainly first, show up, and then you never know who you can impact, who you can help. You can say one little sentence that the light bulb will go on in somebody else's mind, and then in turn, they would take them down a different path than they were going, all because of one sentence that came out of Mikey's mouth, bro. You know what I mean? Life changing.
Well, it's funny because like every time that I'm going through something and I stay silent about it, right? Like I'll show up to a meeting and somebody else will share almost exactly what it is that I need to hear in that moment, right? Like whatever it is that I'm going through in life, whatever stressors that's being added, most of my stressors are self-inflicted, right? Like
Me too.
I live a clean life today. The book Living Clean in our program means a lot to me, right? So I'm not out here lying, cheating, stealing, damaging relationships. But at the same time, I put so much on my plate that there becomes times where there's very little balance for relationships, right? There's very little balance for Mike, what I need, right? And so I was talking to my sponsor last night, and I was like, please tell me that there is more to life than paying bills, working, and going to meetings. Because, like, man, I was going through some bullshit last night, right? And I'm like, all I do is work, right? But at the same time, it's like I have to put into perspective that, one, I put all those jobs on my plate, you know, until my plate becomes so full that there are times where, like, I have to regress and I have to be like, wow, I need a moment to breathe, right? Like I need to kind of refresh myself because I don't feel fresh, right?
Yeah.
Or there are times where I have to say no to people. And then there are also times where it's like I have to remind myself what it is that I'm working for and allow that purpose to drive it instead of the results that I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's real easy to be like so result focused that we forget the process and we forget the purpose of why we're in this process together. So, and it ain't about me at the end of the day, right? Like it ain't all about me, but I like to make it all about me and then put myself in a world of shit, you know?
Yeah, you just said something. Well, what did you say that made me think of something? Oh man, I didn't think I was going to forget about it, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But anyways, bro. So the first time we went live, it was on July 10th. That's the last time we went live. You got to tell half of your story. So now we'll get into the other half. A lot of people, they don't know. I didn't know until I asked you about Dream XL. Like you know, like if an average person or non-alcoholic, non-addict reads that, they don't think, oh, it's probably a recovery thing. You know what I mean? And could you kind of, I know you can get into your other half of your story, but before you do that, can you I mean, it'll probably segue right into your story actually about how, because I know you talked about when you're in prison and you're on the top bunk and everything and that whole spiel. Could you share that with us?
Sure. I mean, so, back in 2010, I had, for anybody that may have missed it the last time that we were on there, and then I apologize for last time, right? Because I didn't have the phone charger plugged in. It died on me, right? But I didn't know that, like, as the screen is still recording, my phone screen was blank, but y'all could still see me, right? And and I was cussing up a storm, right? But yeah. So I apologize for that, but I'm here today to kind of show up and finish on that, right? But so I had got stabbed, and I got stabbed bad, right? I was like fighting for my life to a point where this was like almost like I said, live or die. And I'm laying there in a puddle of blood, and I'm not even moving. And the police came up and maced me. And then they charged me with assault. They had charged me with inciting a riot because it happened during mass movement on the way back from Chow. And they upped my security level to maximum. They put me on lockup for 18 months, and that was in a gang program so that I could kind of like be deprogrammed and away from all the bullshit that I was getting myself into while I was in prison. And it made it a very hard situation for me, right?
Right.
And that was something that I had like never experienced before. I had never experienced the level of control over someone. You know what I mean? And I like stripped down to my underwear. That's all I had. I had no reading material. It took me 90 days to get a pen and a piece of paper or a writing pad so that I could express my own stuff out on paper. And I was sitting in there, and it's like I had to build this routine for myself, right? Because like every single day was the same. I'm waking up in one cell. I had no cell buddy at that point because everybody was like secluded from each other. And it was like, what can I do with myself? For like 60 days, I chose to lay in a bunk.
Right.
and feel sorry for myself. And no mail would come around. And like every time mail call would come out and they'd be like, you know, going to almost every other cell but mine. It was such a lonely and dark feeling from not being able to, you know, have letters from family or
Mm-hmm.
have letters from friends or even the girlfriends that like, you know, I would start relationships with and then I get locked up. And I'm thinking because I'm so selfish that they need to stay with me
Mm-hmm.
while I'm locked up. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
then years go by. Right. And it's like, you know, that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
And God forbid I ever have to put anybody through that again. I don't ever want to experience anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to find a routine for myself, right? And that started with like brushing my teeth, getting up and doing push-ups. I started to learn meditation, right? I started to like write a bunch of stuff down about myself. And like I did my first mock 4-step in prison
Uh-huh.
without even knowing what a 4-step was. So I
Mm-hmm.
just started like analyzing all these things about myself that I didn't like, right? Like all and it was like what I didn't like about myself that I could change, right? Like what were the attributes that like I have no control over, or like I got a big nose, right? So it's like can't change that, and I'm not going to go get, you know, cosmetic surgery or nothing.
Yeah.
But like I wrote all this stuff down. It sounds funny, but like that was my way of analyzing myself and becoming into a level of acceptance, right? For like the first time in my life. And then I started to write down what it is that I am good at. And
Mm-hmm.
like that's where it all started to change. And I was like, well, what haven't I done? What do I want to do? What do I want to bring to this world? What can I contribute by? And I wrote like a bucket list. And then I was like, well, I want to become a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at that. I've been through a lot of things in life. Like, let's see how we can go with that, right? And like, I was struggling over a name for this. I didn't know what brands were or what. I knew what, but I didn't know how to create one. And I
Yeah.
didn't know what the outline was. But like in my mind, I was like, what can I name this thing? And so weeks went by and I'm laying in my top bunk, right? And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, all right, you know, try this name, and none of it was working. And then I fell asleep one night, man. I woke up out of my sleep with Dream XL right in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Dream extra large, because that's essentially what I was doing while I was locked in this cell and I couldn't go anywhere. But I was dreaming of something different to kind of bring me outside of some kind of mental escape of all the shit that I was in right there. And like that was something that I started to hold on to. Like, wow, what can I do with this? What can I do with my life? Now, I was nowhere near done my pain, nowhere near done my process. I came home and I went through the whole process over and over and over again, and even went back to prison twice since that time, you know, but it was where that all started. And it's like today, you know, now that I'm clean, I'm literally limitless.
Yeah.
And I've taken a look at this bucket list. It's so funny. I still have this bucket list. One of them said I want to rob a bank, right? But like, you know, I'm glad all that changed. You know, no, I
Yeah.
said pull off the perfect heist, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something I had said then. But you know, I'm grateful I don't have to do that today.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things on that bucket list I have been able to do almost subconsciously, just being in recovery,
Right.
right? And it's like, if recovery represents us living a life beyond our wildest dreams, then that's what Dream XL represents to me as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you asked about how that doesn't necessarily sound like something that's a recovery page, like at the end of the day, I created it before I was in recovery,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I didn't do anything with it. And then today I'm in recovery, so I'm able to utilize it in ways that I would have never been able to do before. And I firmly believe that if it wasn't for the foundation of recovery that I have, attacking fears, right? Attacking our own self-doubts, analyzing our character defects and learning ways to grow through them,
Mm-hmm.
emptying the trash from everything that we've ever done in our life to become a better person, so that we don't have to carry that around like a vest on our chest anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes us unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing out there in this world today that holds me back aside from my own actions, right?
Yeah.
My own thinking, my own behavior,
Mm-hmm.
my own feelings, the way that I feel about myself and the way that I feel about the world. And so if I have an ability to say that none of that matters and then work a program that helps me counter all that with action, right? Then I can do anything in the world. And so to me, Dream XL just kind of transitioned perfectly into that. You know, there's tens of thousands of recovery pages out there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and God bless them all. I want Dream XL to represent what can we do when we're in recovery?
Right.
What can we do? Like, what can we do with our lives?
Mm-hmm.
And that's dreaming extra large for me. That's never
Yeah.
going to stop, you know?
Yeah.
I
And
just want to inspire people.
yeah, you said something like when you first started, talking, because I know that a lot of people don't know this though, but I just wanted it to kind of be clear. When you said you got stabbed, so how many times did you get stabbed?
11 times.
11, and wasn't it one in your head, right in the back of your head?
So
Or like,
back of my head 3 times. And this was like a crude ice pick. Like essentially what oscillates the fan.
yeah.
So we get fans on commissary, and there's like this little like 4-inch bar that it's about that big around, and it oscillates. That's what it's got, like that little chip on it at the end where it kind of holds the fan motor.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
spins the fan motor around. So I was very familiar with them. We used to take them apart all the time. And it's funny because I used to sharpen them all the time. Anytime I could get my hands on a fan, I would sharpen them and then I would sell them.
Yeah.
Right. And that in turn is exactly what I got stabbed with.
Yeah.
And got stabbed in the shoulder, through the cheek. I got a nice little scar on my cheek here. I got a nice one down in my hand, right in between my fingers. That one hurt pretty bad. Just in a rib cage, but it bounced off my ribs instead of going. I'm grateful because that would have punctured my lung.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got me good.
Yeah, bro. And then they didn't let you shower for a while, right? Or something?
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days.
Once the police maced me, and I'm literally, I got holes all over me, in my chest, in my shoulder, my back of my head, my face. The mace was all inside of that. And they would not let me shower for 3 days. And the worst part of it was, right, is like once they had maced me and I'm coming to, because the mace like brought me out of unconsciousness because it hurt so bad, you know? And I'm like, and it was all in my face and I'm like barely breathing, gasping for air. And like when they finally took me up to medical, which was like 2 hours later, they brought me in because they threw me right into a holding cell and just let me bleed and stay there with the mace on me, you know? And then they put me into the medical unit and they were like, don't worry, we're gonna let you get this off of you and everything. We got a cell and it's got a sink in it and you can rinse this off, man. And I'm like, oh, thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful. Oh yeah, all that shit, right? And they locked me in this cell and I couldn't see. Like I couldn't see where they were walking me because I kept wanting to hold my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And like I heard the door shut behind me and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. And the whole time, like they just shut the door and walked away. And I turned around and I could like barely open my eyes. And I looked in and the only thing in this cell was a drain. That's it. No mattress, no nothing, no sink, no toilet, no nothing. And they stuck me in there for another 6 hours before I finally saw a doctor that started like, they cleaned the wounds and then were stitching up the wounds, especially my cheek. And then they literally just shut me back on lockup and didn't allow me to shower for 3 days.
Yeah.
And like I truly learned about meditation before I even knew what meditation was, because my whole body burned so bad that it like radiated through the entire cell and made the cell so hot that like even the dude next door was like, bro, I can feel that heat coming from over there.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was trying to like lay on the cold concrete floor and just breathe, you know, try and like mentally get into a different zone than I was in. And like I said, that's where I learned about meditation. And then like I was good. By the third day, I was kind of good. It still burned a little bit like a bad sunburn. And then they finally let me shower. And as soon as I got under the shower, I'm thinking it's going to rinse everything off and I'm going to be good. No, water reactivates the mace, man, and it turned into the whole process all over again. And
Oh man. But like talking about Dream XL, like I get that. Like I was an entrepreneur for a long time too. So like like the how you talked about with your sponsor. I mean like work, this meetings, this meeting, this like is that it? That's it? Like I like for me, the goal of being sober wasn't to be sober and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like not be in recovery and just that's it. Like nothing else. Like
mhm.
that's where my life started. Literally being in recovery and staying sober. That's like okay, you're like normal now. Now go out and like dream big, like how you talked about. And that is literally what happened to me. Like I started getting all these different desires, and these different like visions and dreams, and here we are today. Like we're a nonprofit now, and it just started with an idea of posting stuff to help people stay sober in the middle of the pandemic. You know what I mean? And then it has just grown more and more and more and more and more. But yeah, bro, it's amazing. There is absolutely more to life. I mean, if you're early in recovery, that might not sit well with you. Like me saying that there's more to life than just being sober, because like
Yeah,
that's all
right.
I wanted to do before I was sober. Like that's it. I just want to stay sober. I don't care what else happens. But then in the process of me learning about me and staying sober, and like more time in between me and the last time I drank or used, like like things started to happen. Like my cognition got more clear. I can think clearly. My physical body felt way better. My mental health was really good. And then I can actually think for the first time in my life, like think properly. My program taught me how to think properly because that's the main problem I had, man. It's centered in my mind. Like that's my problem. The
Yes,
drink,
sir.
the drug was always a solution. Never ever once was my problem. I always, I say it was I didn't have a drinking problem. It was a thinking problem that manifested into a drink problem. It manifested into drugs, manifested into anger, it manifested into control. All of that stuff, man. So like being free of me, being free of other people, and being free of drugs and alcohol has really helped my potential just grow. And like I do this, it's intentional. I do it on purpose. Like I purposely read books. I purposely go to meetings. I purposely have worked my steps, and I continue to 10, 11, 12. Because I was taught, my sponsor taught me, if you 10, 11, 12, that will prevent a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's when, if I fail to 10, 11, 12, then I start gathering all these like different resentments and all these things. Because I got to go back and look. I've been tracking it. It's been about 700, almost 760 days I've been resentment free. Because I know I've been keeping track of that. That's a big deal for me.
Well,
Just like the drugs and alcohol, it's at the same level basically. It might be even one up, honestly, the resentment. Because like I don't need a drug or a drink to destroy my life, to end my life. I don't need that. My thinking can do that all without
yep.
drugs and alcohol, no problem. Like in one afternoon, I can lose everything off of one bad thought that I entertained and I took action on. So yeah, like things like that. It's just amazing how we grow through this process. And like you were just saying, like, yeah, it's not an overnight matter. Like these things don't happen like instantly. Like I mean, I wish that was the case, but in a way, I'm glad it's not, because all the work and all the effort that we have put into our own recovery, like if stuff was just handed to us, I wouldn't appreciate nothing. Like I would
Right.
be expecting you be feeding my disease. I all of a sudden I expect you to do this, to this, to this, to this, to this. And when you don't, oh, here we go. I'm not in control, so I'm out of control now. I cannot control you. So and then here comes the resentment. And then here comes the argument. And then here goes me down the freeway speeding and lose control. I crash and kill somebody off of resentment that led all the way, you can track it all the way back. It was a thought. It was one wrong thought that I entertained. That's why I'm very big on renewing my mind. I'm a Christian. I renew my mind with the Word of God. I renew my mind with my literature. I renew my mind with like devotionals, other kind of different books. like on maybe on leadership and business and things like that. Like I do, man. Like that's how I managed to stay sober this whole time. Like I mean, I heavily depend on God to guide me, you know, today. So, but anyways, I started talking about me now. It's not about me.
No, that was gold. That was gold, and I hope that people that are tuning in can take some hits off of that, right? Because, like, you know, just as you said, recovery is simply the foundation that I get to continue to lay bricks up, right? And like I wouldn't have any of the bricks of a kind of half a house that I got now, you know what I mean? But like I'm building more, but I wouldn't have any of those bricks if staying clean and working this program was not the foundation, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
so I have to continue, and it's real easy to keep stacking those bricks and forget where it all started. For me,
Absolutely.
at least.
No,
You know,
I can
and then I
identify.
have to like remind myself, like, man, shit. You know, people will call me out, which I'm grateful for today.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll be like, you know, you're not sounding too grateful. You know, you're sounding a little self-centered. Sounds like you're living in fear. You're living
Yeah.
in anxiety. You know, and then I kind of like have to recenter myself, and that's cyclic. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a one and done thing for me. I'm a pretty hard-headed guy, right? But the one thing that I can say that I've been able to utilize to the best of my ability is that I don't pick up, and that I keep this program as a part of my routine, period, right? So like every time that I go through that little bit of pain, like I grab it full force, right? And as that foundation, what I have built upon it is like, man, I've added meditation, I added prayer, I've added Reiki, I've added, you know, different types of rituals that really help me cleanse myself, right? Like
Yeah.
I haven't tried yoga much, right? But like I love breathing exercises, which I can't even express to you how much helped me. Like just before we jumped on here, I started doing some of those breathing exercises, which like brought a level of clarity into my mind. And then it tells me that, okay, I'm ready to show up. Right. And so instead of having all that fear and anxiety that I used to have at times like this, when I come on a live or if I have to get on stage, or if there's other things that are like really demanding of presence, right? Like I don't have to worry about that day because I have tools that I've been able to learn in recovery, right? And then I have tools that I've been able to add to my recovery, which make me a complete, you know, toolbox, I guess, right? Like I mean, I don't know how to say it any better, right? And you know, some of those books, man, I'll give you two that like just completely changed my level of thinking and who I am, right? Is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? And As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Yeah.
And so both of those books right there taught me that, just like you said, my mind is the ultimate weapon, right? The way that I think regulates the way that I feel. And the way that I feel manifests itself, the way I feel about myself, the way I feel about you, the way I feel about the world, manifests itself tenfold back to me. Right? And that creates a level of reality around me. It's like a person that walks into a room and they're frowning, and that like low vibration of just not being at peace starts to resonate into everybody else, right? Like today I have tools to kind of keep my self energy, right? And like at a much cleaner level. And that becomes routine for me. That becomes like a tool, an added tool. And so just like I said, anytime that I have to perform, anytime that I have to show up in my day, even though some days really suck when I have to sit behind a computer, and then other days like I'm really on point, like I always refer back to these tools, and I would have never have learned them had I not have had the clarity of mind and the acceptance and the open-mindedness and the willingness that I have learned in recovery to apply those things to my life. You know?
Bro, you're so good with your words, bro. It makes so much sense. That's why, like, I can relate, because a lot of these things you're talking about, I learned the same exact thing. You know, oh, bro, that's great. That's amazing. I like how you put that. So, Mikey, at this time, we never got into it last time. I'm gonna ask you some questions. No.
Go.
Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, so the first question is, what aspects of your life has changed since being clean and sober?
Oh my God. Every aspect of my life. There's not a single aspect of my life that didn't change. Four and a half years ago, I was broken and homeless in Baltimore City, right? Like I was literally crying as I'm trying to stick a needle in my arm because I couldn't hit myself, and I'm just screaming out loud in the middle of an alley, just so worked up because I can't get these drugs in me fast enough,
Mhm.
you know, and just so broken and like dead, you know, and today it's like I'm sitting in my own apartment that I pay for, you
Yeah.
know, my significant other and a beautiful relationship. I got a beautiful little puppy running around that's biting my ass, right? And I get to take care of her today, right? And then like, you know, I've got all this equipment behind me and equipment downstairs, and it's not about the material things, but like I would have never have been able to accumulate or manage
Right.
or you know work for something more than obtaining the next one, you know,
Yeah.
and the level of peace and like happiness and just, you know, I'm not always fucking happy, right? But like I have an opportunity today to work on that happiness one day at a time,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, I'm literally at a loss for words because there's not a single aspect of my life that
Right.
recovery has touched.
All of
So,
them. Okay, I like this next question. So what's your take on recovering out loud?
oh man, so when I we were just talking on the phone
Uh-huh.
out in Indiana, I went to Recover Out Loud Festival, right? And
Oh
like
yeah.
so that really spoke to me. And Kalichi was there, all the Cloud Gang guys. I don't know if any of y'all on the West Coast know them. They're big on the East Coast, but they travel across the
Okay.
nation. Shout out the Cloud Gang. That's my people right there. They were really doing a thing. And you know, so I got a chance to get up on stage, man, in front of people. It was my first time sharing with a microphone.
Oh, right
And
on.
it was about Recover Out Loud and how important that is, that you know we don't hold our stories captive and stay selfish within our recovery, because it's not just about the meetings. Like I'll share in the meetings, I'll share in my 12-step fellowship, right? Like I'm an active part of my 12-step fellowship, you know.
Yeah.
But today, in today's day and age, it's like here we are, we have social media and an ability to touch people all over the world. And so when we share where we're at, where we've been, and where we want to go with our lives, and have a way to impact other people that may be struggling, like
Mhm.
that's a lifesaver, man. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't ask for a greater blessing in life than to just simply be me and have other people say, wow, that really inspired me.
Mhm.
You know, one
Yeah.
more day. Wow. The people that reach out to me in Messenger and they're like, hey man, I'm really struggling. What you said like made a big impact on me. How can I get clean? Or what is my next step if they are clean? And like I love conversations like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't work for a treatment center. I don't outsource to any treatment centers. Like I'm not that guy. But at the end of the day, like I'm just another addict that is trying to help other addicts stay clean
Mhm.
and become the best versions of their lives, so that,
Yeah.
you know, they don't have to struggle with fear and self-doubt and all the other bullshit that we face, man.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Right on. I love that answer.
I'm with it. I'm with Recovery Out Loud, you know?
Yeah, me too, bro. Like I cannot, like you cannot shut me up, man. I mean, in regards to my 12-step program, I understand the anonymity part of it. I get that.
Sure.
Like I understand. That's why I never identify and say what fellowship I'm a part of, because that's breaking a tradition. But I can talk about my personal story and my drug story and how I got sober. No problem. Like, yeah, I'm screaming that, no problem.
Well,
Um,
you know what? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go
Sorry.
ahead.
You know what's funny? Because not just in a social media aspect, but literally everywhere I go, like, you know, I wear my key tag. I've
Mm.
got, you know, plenty of recovery T-shirts that I wear, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm, you know what I mean, and I wear other people's as well. And it's always a conversation starter. And each random person that I might see in an elevator or at a gas station or anywhere, right, in a little store, it always builds to something more. I do door-to-door sales for another company as well, roofing sales, right? And then I always knock on doors and put myself out there for other little projects like power washing and gutter cleaning and just last week painting, right? Me expressing my story even to normal people that have never faced addiction ever, and not the whole story. I don't want to scare people away, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah, hey, you know, like 4 years ago, I completely changed my life. I'm an amazing person today, and this is what I'm able to do now, and like I have an opportunity to be able to do this for you. It's always inspiring, and I get nothing but good feedback everywhere I go. So I will never stop.
Yeah. All right, bro. Nice. Me either. I can't. Even if I wanted to, I cannot. I just cannot. It's impossible. Uh, okay. The fourth question is, in your opinion, is there a difference between sobriety and recovery?
Yes. Yes,
Hmm?
for sure. And I know, well, I don't have to hold my tongue today, right? Sobriety is remaining abstinent, right?
Yeah.
Like just being abstinent, being clean of a substance. Recovery is a whole nother animal where
Yeah.
that abstinence must stay first. And the recovery part is changing thinking patterns and behaviors,
Right.
becoming a better version of ourselves, stop harming, stop lying, you know, building better relationships. It's so funny when I even see people out in the normal world, right, that don't have these tools that
Right.
we learn, right? And they'll be like, they'll say something wild and fucked up and to other people, right? And they'll be like, oh, it's because I have no filter, right? And to me, it's like, no, you just don't have any tact. You don't have any respect. You don't have any self-awareness to be able to look at your words and see how they impact others, right?
Yeah.
And today, it's like I have an opportunity to look at that because of recovery. And even though I do say things that are off the cuff, it's still from a manner of tact and like, okay, this is not a hurtful statement. But to me, I fully believe that there's a big difference between just being clean, just being abstinent, just being sober, and then working a program of action in
Right.
recovery. Because without a program of action, I wouldn't have shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anything, you know,
Yeah.
and I can still find the same messed up behaviors and the same messed up thinking and the same messed up way of feeling about myself clean.
Hmm.
And it's happened over and over and over and over again, even though I work a program of action.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I can relate to you on that, and I've had thoughts too of like, like normal people, like talk about like they don't have no filter and different things like that. Like, these people, they don't have like, there's no like moral compass, there's no set of principles they live by. Like, not every single normal person, but the majority. I mean, like us, we have gained tools. You know what I mean? We have a new design for living that has worked for us. And we think about what we think about. You know what I mean? And like, am I gonna hurt somebody by these words coming out of my mouth? Am I gonna be respectful? Am I gonna show compassion? Because of things that I have learned in recovery, that's why those thoughts come first, and not just a bunch of blah, 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 all of my mouth. Oh, but don't get me wrong, that stuff happens from time to time with me still. You know.
Sure, sure. We're not
Yeah,
perfect, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm far from perfect, but today, like I step up when I'm not being the man that I want to be, and I make direct amends.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I say, hey, I was out of bounds. I really apologize for my actions. I
Mhm.
apologize for what I said,
Yeah,
and I make good on that. And even if it happens again, like I promptly admit when I'm wrong,
yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I say that too. I mean, I'm far from good, but I'm good from far. Like, oh, I can look good from far away, but come a little closer. Come check me out.
Right.
You know what I mean? uh, okay, Mikey, the last question I'll ask you is, what would you say to encourage the newcomer or somebody trying to get sober right now?
Wow. Surrender.
Ooh.
Surrender. And just like we talk about sobriety versus recovery and all that kind of stuff, right? Like my recovery didn't fully start. I wanted it. I wanted to be clean, but I had to surrender, right? And that was so far away from anything that I had ever known. All my life, I fought and I fought and I fought and I ran away and I ran and I chased other things, right? I wanted to run away from my family. I wanted to fight any given authority. I fought police. I put myself in harm's way, and like I never cared about consequences. But it's like I was surrendering to drugs and alcohol every single day, right? Even when I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't want to. So coming into recovery, I had to surrender to a program because I had no control, right? And that act of surrender was pretty significant to me because I literally stripped down to my underwear in icy cold rain in the middle of February and got on my knees out in the smoke pit where everybody went and smoked. And this was like after midnight, so nobody was out there, thankfully, right? But I got on my knees and I screamed out to God, and I didn't even really know what a connection to God was at that time. And I screamed out to God, and I was like, God, please help me, because I was so numb and I was so broken, even in early recovery, you know. And that act of surrender, like I started to carry it with me, you know, and that was my first level of turning my will over before I even worked any steps,
Yeah.
and had an opportunity to understand fully what I was doing. You know, but that act of surrender, and then it like multiplies, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to surrender to today, right? What did I need to surrender to 4 months in recovery? Was that when they told me that, hey, you should probably go to a halfway house because you're still a freaking animal, you know? And like, so I started, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay. And like surrender, right? And like,
Yeah.
bro, if I wasn't in that halfway house that I wanted to fight initially, there would be no Dream XL because I started this on the floor of my recovery house when I was there, you know? And like, so bro, surrender, man. It's not a coward term.
No,
It's
not at all.
I need help. And there, you know how much nobility there is in that, and strength there is in that, to admit that you need help.
Yeah.
You know, I still need help today. I ask my significant other for help all the time because sometimes I'm a mess. You know, I was actually going to call you earlier today and be like, hey, man, I know you've been through a lot of business stuff. Can you help me? Because I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we're sitting here and we're showing up. And
That's right.
I surrendered to the fact of, hey, I got this live feed and I'm going to jump on with my man,
Right,
Lika,
right.
and we're going to chop it up, right?
Yeah.
Try and help some people. So
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, you really have helped me just you know, because physically, like my body is like so exhausted from work, from everything, from PRP stuff, work. We did the SoCal Hope Dealers event last night in Anaheim. But you know that I like that word of encouragement of surrender. I forget. I heard this recently. I forgot who said this. I was at a meeting, but I think they said surrender was basically surrender is joining the winning team. Basically, like somebody, I forgot who said that. Now it's gonna bug me, you know. And like it made a lot of sense. I was like, you know, I was pretty much losing. It was pretty obvious, you know, that I was losing. You know, they say, you know, you ain't winning if you're losing. I was hands down on the losing team. And then it reminded me of another lady that I'm friends with in my 12-step program. Um, it was a while ago, but she said like related it to like being in the military, you know, like when like the opposing like country, I guess, you know, like they surround you, and then okay, you gotta surrender, because that's why we think that's a bad term, because that's what we see in movies, like okay, I surrender, you know. But she said something along the lines of you put your hands up, you put your gun down, put your hands over your head, and then you await further instructions. That's complete surrender, and then you, of course, you follow those instructions. It's not time to rebel right there.
right,
You get a bullet in your head.
I really like that. I like
Yeah.
that analogy.
Yeah.
Await further instructions.
Yeah, that was like a couple of years ago. I heard her say that. I was like, man, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, bro. But hey, thank you again, bro. Like I'm trying to, man. I get so much things going on, but I'm trying to do a live once a month at least, where I can get 3 other people, because it's the host and 3 other people live, and we can
Okay.
just all chop it up. You know what I mean? And just, because it's, there's many pathways to recovery. It's not like one size fits all. Prior to being a counselor and going to school, I thought that nope, one size fits all. That's it. Just do what I do, you get what I get. But my program taught me how to keep my mind open, and
Yep.
because of that, I started to learn. I was like, oh dang! I only thought this is like as a legitimate thought I had. I thought people only got sober in 12-step programs because that's all I was exposed to, and it worked for me. So naturally, I start to turn biased. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to 12-step programs, but my mind has opened up a lot more. Since going to school and all this stuff, and being in this field. It's great. I really enjoyed that because I never realized how much of a closed mind I had prior to getting sober, man. Unbelievable, and that has always hurt me. It has never worked in my favor, ever, ever, ever in my life, So, um, okay, now I'm starting to look at everybody's comments and stuff. I never do that because I get distracted and I like lose my train of thought. But what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. Mikey, what program do you do? She's asking.
Which part of the program am I allowed to say that? Let me just say we refer to our program as having clean time.
Okay,
We
yeah,
can,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's the
Yep.
obvious one. That's obvious.
Right, right, right. So,
Yeah.
um,
They're not
but there's
sober. They're
many
clean.
parts. There's many parts to my recovery. There's many parts to my
Yeah.
recovery, and like I said, that comes down to even having a sense of a spiritual self that I get to enjoy for me, right?
Yeah.
Like not just my prayer time, right? But like what makes me feel spiritually connected, and sometimes that's like walking outside. Sometimes that's laying up underneath the sunshine. Like I actively force that into my day so that I can have that as a part of me feeling whole and feeling like I'm taking care of myself, right?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, like I'm always on the go, always
Yeah.
on the go. Some days it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon before I realize that, hey man, you should probably eat something, and that's not like cool,
Yeah.
it's not cool. So I struggle a lot too, right? But it's like how much better can I be tomorrow than I am today? And
Right.
to continually take notes of what's causing me harm, what's causing me distress, what's causing me stress, and how can I start to work on eliminating these things from my life? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Absolutely, bro. Ooh, I love these conversations, man. But like
Mhm.
like I was saying, like I'll call you and we can talk more about it like later, about coming back on like with 2 other people, and
Cool.
we can just chop it up, man. Four brains are better than one.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
I wish I had 4 brains in Dream XL right now, man. Because mine
Yeah,
feels like it's getting ready to blow out of my eye
yeah,
sockets.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Jen, my friend Jen is here. She loves it. Jen, you can be one of the ones that go live with us if you want, Jen. Just say something if you heard me. We got a plan for this, man. Like I'm trying to do this once a month, to get
Cool.
3 other people on with me. And then we could talk there. Oh, she's down. Jen, she's always down, and she has an amazing story. Charlie B. Oh, there we go, right there. There we go.
Well,
Oh
let me
man,
ask you something while we're on. Do
yeah,
you have Facebook as well? I don't.
yeah,
Can we even say the word Facebook on
yeah, yeah.
Instagram?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Facebook,
right.
Instagram owns Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I need somebody to hold me accountable
Mhm.
because there was a time when I was doing live feeds consistently, right? And then I
Awesome.
got to like the stage of just straight utter burnout, right?
Yeah.
Um, and like I dropped back from almost everything. Even now, like I'm still struggling to remain consistent in my social media presence. And like my page suffers because of it.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I want to complain about, but it was like me protecting me and taking care of my own mental health, my own well-being, and then chasing down some of the things that I need to do, right?
Hmm.
So I need to open that door back up, and I would like to bring you onto the Facebook channel,
Oh
onto the
yeah.
Dream Excel Collective live page, and we use the live stream app and all that kind of good stuff. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I'm down,
I'd
bro.
love
I'm
to have
always
you
down.
on.
I'm
Yeah, talk
always
about
down.
your story. Talk about your pro recovery power.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool, man. I'm always down to do that. Any kind of podcast or like interviews, anything that has the potential to help somebody else change their life. I'm all in every single time, 10 times out of 10. The only reason why I may not do it is because I have other obligations in regards to my wife or something. Other than that, because I can be all gung ho, recovery, everything, PRP, everything, and neglect my
Mhm.
family, and I start to lose them. And yeah, I don't want to do that. I got,
It's part of your recovery. Your
yeah,
family is part of your
yeah,
recovery.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's
But
take that
definitely,
first.
I also I'm doing another podcast with the school I went to. I don't know. I'll send it to you. I don't know if anybody else here has watched it, but we filmed a mini documentary for PRP. I posted it like a week or so ago or something. But
First well
somehow,
done.
yeah, they like these people got a hold of it. And they emailed. Oh no, they emailed me and then they called me about it. So they're gonna interview me, and it's going to be used for it's something called, it's the 2021 Recovery Happens event, and it happens once a year. It's huge because it's going to be in September. September is Recovery Month, so it's going to be all over the place, and we're going to be gone. We're going to be in Hawaii already, so I won't be able to be at, they'll do multiple locations, like up north in NorCal, down South Cal, here, SoCal here, and
Self
everything.
out.
Yeah, South Cal, South Cal, and but it's just amazing, man. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm just the man, bro. Like, I'm just a vessel for God to use. That's it. Like,
Yep.
like, left to my own devices, man. Like, I will screw everything up 100% of the
Mhm.
time. There's not. It reminds me. I don't know if back in the days, there was a king. Marcus Aurelius. I'm sure you know who.
Mhm.
You heard his name. So he had he had one guy in his entire kingdom that had the most important job. And every once in a while, all this, he was a servant, all he would do was literally go up to him and whisper in his ear, "You're just a
Art of
man.
Seduction. I got the
You-
book right there on my
You're just a man. You're just a
that's
man."
where it came from. I
Yeah,
know the story. I know the little
yeah,
snippet. Yep.
yeah. You're
Yep.
just a man. Helps
Yep.
him stay grounded. See, because
Yep.
like modern days, like trying to relate it to today. Like, I can have a bigger following on social media. I can have more people liking my stuff, more commenting, sales going up. All of a sudden, my feet will start to lift the ground. But then that's why I
Yep.
got my wife to remind me, "Oh, bro, you just a man, though. Oh, yep, that's right. Boom, I'm back on the ground."
Yep. Yep.
Because you can lose, like me, I can lose my humility because of success. And I've done that before, active in addiction especially. And it never turned out well, like, ever, even in
Sure.
recovery. But I
Sure.
gotta go get some sleep, bro. So I'm so
Hey,
tired.
get some rest. I did see a comment on there that said, "Where do we follow you on Facebook?" And it is
Oh,
the same name, Dream XL Collective on Facebook as well. And
okay.
yep. And then we have a group page called Team Dream XL on Facebook.
Okay.
Uh, honestly, I'm a lot more active over there on Facebook than I am on Instagram. I haven't cracked the Instagram code yet, so it's like Instagram doesn't favor me, right? But Facebook does. So I'm just I'm getting in where I fit in and doing what I need to do, and I'm just trying to make an impact, build, and inspire some people along the way.
Right on, bro.
So
And you're doing it, bro. You inspire me all the time. Every time
you
I think
inspire
about you,
me,
I get inspired, bro. Because I
my
know your
man.
story. I know your story, man. Like, and everybody else got to know it, today. The other half of it, basically. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest of your this night already over there. You're in New York, or where were you in?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
keep in
hot.
touch with you. I'll keep in touch with you,
Thank you,
bro.
brother.
Yeah, and then
Extremely grateful for you. Thank you for the opportunity to come on and share a little bit more.
yeah.
Uh, thank you for everybody that tuned in. Remember, surrender. Let's go.
That's right. Surrender.
Yep.
Okay, bro. You have a good one.
Love you, man.
Okay, love you
See ya.
too. Bye bye.